15 minutes. That's the promise on the sign, and it's the whole business model. 15 minutes to drain your oil, change your filter, top off your fluids, and get you back on the road for 30 bucks. Here's the part nobody says out loud. The person under your car is not paid to change your oil correctly. They're paid to change it fast. And the difference between those two things is where engines die. Today, I'm counting down the 9 things happening in that bay that are quietly destroying your engine, 9 to 1, and then the 4 places that will actually save it. And number 1, it's the one where the oil never came out at all. Before we start the countdown, you need to understand the machine you're driving into because every single item on this list comes from the same route. A quick lube bay makes almost nothing on the oil change itself. $30 minus the oil, minus the filter, minus the labor. There's very little left. The money is in 2 things, volume and the upsell board. Volume means cars per hour. The upsell board means the extra services they add on while you're sitting in the waiting room with a coffee. So the 2 forces acting on the technician under your car are go faster and sell more. Neither of those forces is check that the gasket came off with the old filter. Neither of them is look up the correct viscosity for this specific engine. Those steps take time, and time is the one thing the model cannot afford. That's not a conspiracy. It's just arithmetic. And once you see the arithmetic, every item on this list stops being a mystery. Number 9, the free top-off you were charged for. Every quick lube ticket includes a fluid check, washer fluid, coolant, brake fluid, power steering, transmission where it's checkable. It's printed right there on the invoice, and it's usually all ticked. Here's the test. Next time, before you go in, deliberately run your washer fluid down to nearly nothing. Then drive in, get the service, and check the reservoir in the parking lot before you leave. A lot of people find it exactly where they left it, with a tick mark on the sheet saying it was topped. Now, washer fluid on its own is not going to kill your engine. That's not the point. The point is what it tells you. If the box got ticked without the fluid getting checked, then you have no idea which other boxes got ticked the same way. The coolant one matters. The brake fluid one matters. The checklist is supposed to be the proof of work, and if the cheapest, easiest, most visible item on it is fiction, the checklist isn't proof of anything. Number 8, the services sold to you in the waiting room. This is where the profit actually lives, and the pitch is always the same shape. They bring something into the lobby to show you, a filter, a dipstick, a little jar of dark fluid, and the timing is not an accident. You're already there, the car's already up, and saying no feels like you're being careless with your own vehicle. And we're not guessing about how well it works because it's been filmed. An NBC4 I-Team investigation in Los Angeles spent 4 months on this. They took a car that 3 independent experts confirmed needed nothing except an oil change, wired it with hidden cameras, and drove it into 11 Jiffy Lube stores asking for a $22 oil change. 7 of the 11 tried to sell services the car did not need. At some of them, the needed work came to upwards of $600 on a car that needed none of it. I want to be precise about what that does and doesn't prove. That's 11 specific stores, and franchised locations are run by different operators. It isn't a verdict on an entire brand. What it is proof that the pressure exists and that it works on people. Some of what's on that board is genuinely fine. A cabin air filter is a real maintenance item, but the high-margin ones, the fuel system service, the premium additive package, the induction cleaning, are sold on a schedule that comes from the shop, not your manufacturer. Your car has a maintenance schedule. It's in the glove box, it's free, and it does not say every 3 months at the discretion of the person earning a commission. Here's the rule that protects you and costs you nothing. Nothing gets added to the ticket in the lobby. If they recommend a service, you say, put it in writing and I'll look at the manual. Every legitimate recommendation survives that sentence. Number 7, the wrong oil from the same hose as everybody else's. Modern engines are far pickier about oil than most people realize. Your engine doesn't just want oil. It wants a specific viscosity grade and a specific specification, because that oil isn't only lubricating, it's hydraulic fluid. It's the working fluid for your variable valve timing, your cam phasers, and on a lot of modern engines, your timing chain tensioners. Put in a thicker grade than the engine was designed for, and cold oil doesn't flow through those tiny control passages fast enough. Put in a thinner one, and you lose film strength when it's hot. Either way, the symptoms don't show up in the parking lot. They show up months later as a rattle on startup, a check engine light for timing correlation, or a stretched chain, and by then nobody's connecting it to an oil change from last spring. Now look at the wall in a quick lube bay. Bulk dispensers, a handful of grades, and a very strong commercial incentive to move the one they buy in the biggest drum. The correct grade is printed on your oil filler cap and in your manual. Read it before you go in, say it out loud when you arrive, and check the invoice says the same thing on the way out. Number 6, the filter you didn't choose. When your engine shuts off, gravity wants to pull the oil in the filter back down into the pan. The part that stops that is a small rubber flap inside the filter called an anti-drainback valve. Its entire job is to hold a reservoir of oil right at the filter, so that when you start the engine cold tomorrow morning, there's oil at the top end almost immediately. A cheap filter either uses a stiff disc instead of a proper rubber valve, or skips the quality of it entirely. The filter still bolts on, it still filters. But now every single cold start begins with a moment where the top of your engine is running dry while the pump refills the filter. That's the tick you hear for a second or two on startup. That tick is metal on metal. Multiply that by every morning for 2 years. The failure never gets traced back because the filter did its job on paper. And here's the thing. The filter is maybe a few dollars different at wholesale. The bay stock's one, it fits 1,000 applications, and it goes on your car because it's the one in the bin. If you care about this, buy your own filter and hand it to them, or go to Villain One's solution. Number 5, and this is the one that can end an engine in a single drive. Every spin-on oil filter has a rubber gasket around its rim. When you take the old filter off, that gasket is supposed to come off with it. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it stays stuck to the engine's filter mount. A thin black ring, almost invisible, sitting exactly where the new filter is about to go. If nobody wipes that mount and checks, the new filter goes on over the old gasket. 2 gaskets stacked, and it feels fine going on. It tightens up, it seals well enough to hold at idle. The car drives out of the bay perfectly. Then you get on the highway, oil pressure comes up, the engine gets hot, and the stack blows out. Not a drip. Your entire oil supply out onto the road in under a minute. Most people don't see the light in time. The check takes 4 seconds. Wipe the mount, look, feel for a ridge. 4 seconds. In a business measured in minutes per car, this is the single most preventable engine killer on this list, and it is entirely a function of whether somebody was rushed. Number 4, the drain plug and the tool that should never touch it. A drain plug has a torque spec, usually somewhere in the region of a firm hand tighten with a wrench. On a modern car, that plug threads into an aluminum oil pan, and aluminum threads are soft. Watch what actually happens in a fast bay. An impact driver goes on the plug to break it loose, and very often the same impact driver puts it back. That's how threads get stripped and how plugs get cross-threaded. A stripped pan is not a small repair. The pan usually has to come off, and on a lot of cars, the subframe or a mount has to come down first to get it off, which turns a $30 service into a very serious bill. There's a second piece, the crush washer. It's a small soft ring that deforms to seal the plug. It's designed to be used once. Reuse it, and the plug either weeps oil slowly for months, or the tech compensates by cranking it harder, which brings us right back to the stripped threads. So the failure mode here is either a slow leak that quietly starves your engine over months, or an expensive pan job, both from a part that costs less than a coffee. Number 3, the dirty filter they show you. Here's the routine. You're in the waiting room. Someone comes in holding an engine air filter or a cabin filter, absolutely caked in gray. They hold it up. They don't even need to say much. The picture does the selling. The question you should ask every single time is 4 words. Is that from mine? Because there is nothing physically connecting that filter to your car. And I'm not speculating. This exact trick was caught on hidden camera in that same NBC4 investigation. A technician pulled the car's old air filter out, and then, while the customer wasn't looking, put the same dirty filter straight back in. The customer was charged $26.99 for a new one that was never fitted. Think about how well that works as a business. The filter comes out, gets shown, goes back in, and gets billed. The part cost is zero because there was no part. And the reason it survives is that it's uncheckable. You're not going to walk into the bay and audit it. Here's how you take the power out of it completely. Your engine air filter lives in a plastic box under the hood, usually held by 4 clips or 2 screws. You can open it in your driveway in about 90 seconds and look at your own filter with your own eyes. Do that once before you ever go in. Then when someone holds a filter up in a lobby, you already know what yours looks like, and the whole performance stops working on you. Number 2, the engine flush, sold to exactly the car that can least afford it. Here's how it's pitched. Your oil came out dark. Your engine's got some miles on it, so let's run a chemical flush to clean out all that built-up sludge before we put fresh oil in. It sounds like the responsible thing to do. It sounds like more care, not less. On a high-mileage engine, it can be the opposite. Sludge in an old engine doesn't sit in one convenient pile. It's a coating spread across the inside of the engine, and in a lot of cases, it has quietly become part of the seal. A strong chemical flush breaks that coating loose all at once, and now all of it is loose, suspended in oil, moving. 2 things it can find: the oil pickup screen in the bottom of the pan, where it packs into the mesh and starves the pump, or the narrow oil galleries and the small control passages for your variable valve timing, where it blocks flow to the top of the engine. Either one is catastrophic, and both happen after you've left, so it never gets connected back. The safe version of this is boring, and it works. Shorter oil change intervals with good oil for a while. Sludge comes out gradually in suspension, a bit at a time, which is exactly what oil is designed to do. Number 1, everything else on this list is a corner cut. This one is the service simply not happening. The car goes into the bay, the invoice gets printed, the sticker goes on the windscreen with the next date on it, and the oil in the engine is the same oil that went in. Sometimes it's a drain and refill that never got drained. Sometimes it's a partial, some out, not all. Sometimes the plug never came out at all, and the bay was just busy. And I want to be precise about why this one is number 1. It's not because it's the most common. It's because it's the only one on the list that is completely invisible and completely verifiable. And almost nobody verifies it. So here is the check, and it takes 90 seconds. Before you drive in, pull your dipstick and look at the color. Take a photo on your phone. Then, when the car comes out, before you pay, in the car park, engine off, on level ground, pull it again. Fresh oil is light, honey, amber, translucent. You can see the metal of the dipstick through it. Old oil is opaque black. If the dipstick coming out looks the same as the photo going in, you have not had an oil change. You have had a sticker, and check the level while you're there, between the marks, not above, not below. So that's the 9. And I want to be fair here, because there are good technicians working in these bays. Plenty of them. The problem isn't the people. It's a model that pays for speed and sells for margin, and then relies on the customer never being able to check the work. Change the incentive, and every single one of these 9 failure modes disappears on its own. So here are the 4 places where the incentive is different. 4. Number 4, the independent shop that will let you walk into the bay. This is the single best filter for finding a good shop, and it costs you 1 phone call. If I bring it in, can I come and look at it on the lift? A shop that says yes has just told you everything. They're not rushing. They're not hiding the work, and they expect to see you again, which is the incentive you actually want. Their business is repeat customers on a first-name basis, not cars per hour. Ask 2 more things while you're there. Do they torque the drain plug with a wrench? And do they use a new crush washer? Anyone doing it properly will be pleased you asked. Anyone who isn't will get vague. Number 3, the dealer specifically while the car is under warranty. I know the dealer is usually the expensive answer, and on most jobs it is. On this one, during the warranty period, it's often the smart one, for 3 reasons. First, they will put in the exact specification your manufacturer requires because they're liable if they don't. Second, they have the technical service bulletins for your engine, the known issues, the updated parts, the revised intervals, which no Quick Lube Bay has. And third, a documented service history at a franchised dealer is the cleanest way to make sure a warranty claim never gets argued about later. Plenty of new cars also come with prepaid or included maintenance for the first few years. If yours does and you've been paying a Quick Lube instead, you've been paying for a worse service. Check your paperwork. Number 2, and this isn't a chain, it's a request that turns any shop into a good one. When you book, say this: "Can I have the old filter back?" It is a completely normal request, and look at what it does to all 9 villains at once. The filter physically came off, so the service happened. You can see the gasket is on it, so it isn't stacked on your engine. You can see whether it's a quality filter or the cheapest one in the bin. One sentence, no cost, and it makes almost everything on this list checkable. Any shop happy to hand you a filter in a bag is a shop that isn't worried about what you'll find in it. Number 1, and you knew it was coming, doing it yourself. Not because everyone can. If you're in an apartment with no driveway, this isn't for you, and that's fine. But if you have somewhere to park and a flat piece of ground, an oil change is genuinely one of the easiest jobs on a car. Ramps or stands, a drain pan, a filter wrench, a socket for the plug, and a torque wrench. You buy your own oil in the exact grade your manual asks for. You buy the filter you want, you wipe the mount and check the old gasket came off. Because it's your engine, you use a new crush washer and you torque the plug to spec instead of hammering it with an impact gun. 20 minutes, a couple of times a year, and every single one of the 9 problems in this video is simply not possible. You're not just saving money, you're removing the stopwatch from the equation entirely. That's the whole thing. If this saved you from one bad service, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It genuinely is the thing that decides whether videos like this get made. And if you take one thing away, make it the 90-second check. Photograph your dipstick before you go in, and pull it again before you pay. That one habit catches nearly everything on this list. 15 minutes is their number. 90 seconds is yours.